got the countdown. It's on. Be like. I'm gonna put this in here. Good morning, everybody. Wait, people know we're live. I'm just copying and pasting this into the last live. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Jessica. How you guys doing today? Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Donna.
Donna, thanks for joining us. And Linda. Sorry we're running a few minutes late today. We were having a few technical difficulties. Hi, Julie. Technical and child difficulties. Hey, Danette. Nice to see you guys. So I'm just sharing this into the other broadcast. That way, in case you happen to catch it, it's going to pop in there. And let me get on here and turn the volume down. All right. So, how is everybody doing today? I have my niece with me again. I think we have one more day after today, right? Yeah, hopefully one more day. So we're going to be making a cute, what?
Back to school card.
Back to school box. Not a card, a box. Good morning, everybody. So thank you all so very much for joining. I have a couple of things I wanted to show you before we make. So we have two different size boxes. We are awesome. Thank you for asking. They want to know how we are. How are you? How are you, Rye?
Awesome.
Awesome. I wanted to show you a couple quick things that I learned the other day, so I figured I would share them with you guys, and I'm sure maybe somebody else has figured this out, but I was going to share them with you anyway. So if you guys have either the nesting circles or the ovals or the squares, because really any of them. So let me put this kind of back in here because I recut it, so it's not going to fit exactly. But so you know how sometimes when we layer things, and I wish I had one handy to show you. Of course, I don't think I do. Oh, real quick too, since she's not in here. I made this card for my niece.
My sister.
Her sister, her birthday's this weekend. She's like hugely into Star Wars. So we made this. Tammy actually shared this a while ago. So my son and I made this card for her. Oops, we still have to put the little lightsabers in, but aren't they cute? Yeah, we can't talk too loud because she's downstairs. So we still have to put these in with a happy birthday. Yeah. So we can have our little... This was a tutorial that Tammy had many, many years ago on how to make a Death Star card. But what we did was we just used the new Sparkle folder. And we did use a retired Star Punch. I know, aren't they cool? Yeah, you can show them. Just grab yours. So then Rye made one for her sister since it's her birthday. So she made, so this is the Death Star. Because so all of a sudden she's wildly into Star Wars.
Oh my god.
It's soupy here in the Northeast, right? Okay, and then Rye made her a Millennium Falcon card. So what we did was we used the circle punch. And then we used, if you still have the word window, that's how we got this little part out. No, it's okay. And then, oh, I can't talk too much. Here they come. And then we used the cool new, the starry background. So it's got the constellations to kind of look like the sky. So, and then we use like a little piece of it in on the inside. So it'll be really, really fun for her. So she's like totally into that. I still have to make my son's card, but I have plenty of time for that. He's all on that Star Wars bandwagon as well. Put this somewhere so you'll remember to write in it for yourself. But what I wanted to show you was, let me see if I can find one here that I might have a layer of so I can explain my point. This would have been very helpful to do this ahead of time. But when you make something, and say you make a layer. Here's one. This is a perfect one. So say you make a layer.
Oh, you made that?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you make a layer for this, and if you can see, you have your big stitch circle, and then you have a layer of paper behind it. So another layer, which is fun. But sometimes people don't want to waste paper, and I totally get that. So that's why I had this together so they can see. So I get that because you have that big piece under there that you could use for something else. So what you could do is you could punch out, or you could cut with your layering circle. I cut the big circle first, and then what I did was I went in with the smaller scallop circle, and then I cut this out. So I had just this little layer, and this works perfectly for layering behind something. So it looks like you have a layer, but you have this whole extra piece here that you can use for something else. So not that I'm like a genius and I just stumbled upon this, but I thought, what a good idea. And then the other cool thing you could do instead, which kind of gives it a different look, was if you put this in front of it and you layer this together, you almost can't tell if you have a scallop edge in front or behind. So I thought that was like a good way to maybe, you know, save some of your paper. So you could cut the inside layer out, even if you cut it out with like the little circle, because then you could use this and you could have like another layer to it. So think about that, because I'm always trying to conserve paper. And as a matter of fact, on her card that she made, what we ended up doing was I had a piece of paper that I had stamped something on I didn't like, and since it was going onto a dark card, so since the card, her card that she just made, was dark, what I did is I flipped it over, because the darkness of the card, you can't see through the other side. So instead of wasting it, I just flipped it back over. So I thought it was a really good idea. And the other thing too was I thought it was neat when you do it this way with the layer, depending on if you want it in the back or in the front, because it gives dimension to it, and you can't really tell, is it popped up on dimensionals? Because when you just look at it like this, it almost makes it look 3D without having to use dimensional. So pretty cool that you can, you know, use it for multiple reasons. So anyway, the other card that I was working on with this, what I ended up doing was this little cute card. I was going to originally layer this on top of it, but the way I stamped it, I didn't really like it. So I ended up just making my own little strip of DIY Designer Series paper. And what I actually used, if you can see that, you see that shimmer on there? That is actually from the new silver, oh goodness, I can't remember, the metallic paint. So what I did was I just took a little paintbrush, so like a little teeny paintbrush. You do have to shake it up really, really well. And sorry, I go off on a tangent here. I wasn't planning on doing this part, but you have to shake it up really, really well because it's super duper 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 shimmery. So you shake it up really well. And what I ended up doing was, just to be honest with you, because you can also put this, you could put this into, hold on, a spritzer. Don't get that out yet. You could put this into a spritzer probably. You could like drop a few drops in it and spray it. However, it might gum up your spritzer, so I haven't tried that one yet. But what I did was I just took the brush and I just dipped into the lid and used it from there instead of using the big pot. But what you do when you're finished with it, you don't need a lot. You can spread it out really well. You do heat it up with your heat tool. If you can see that, how pretty it is, and it sets it so it will not come off. So nothing on your finger. And then it sets it on there, but it gives a lot of shimmer. So they have this one. These are in the holiday catalog. You have copper, you have frost white, which will be great for like snowflakes and such. And so same thing with the champagne. The champagne would be good for snowflakes as well. And then the other one I didn't get was the Vegas gold, but I've seen a couple people use it where I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe I should have gotten it. So it was pretty neat. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I thought this one was a really simple card as well. This is one of the new stamp sets that have that distinctive pattern to them. So they kind of give you like a more of a multi-dimensional stamp when you use them. And then the other one I did, and this one I was just kind of fooling around with, but I'll show it to you up close in person. It's really, really neat in person because it has a lot of depth to it. And it's got a lot of different details, which I think makes it pretty neat. I was just kind of playing around with this because my friend let me borrow it. So I stamped it, and then I added just some extra. I didn't stick this down yet. I made again with the Designer Series paper.
Here's the string.
Yeah, and so this is the ribbon. And then all you do to make it like this is you kind of just pull it, and you can stretch it apart.
And you can make it tinier too.
Yeah, you can, and you can also cut it in half because it is in a tube shape. So it does actually have like an opening here. If you can see. If I can get apart, there you go. It has an opening. So if you wanted to, you could actually cut it and really spread it out. I've seen a lot of people use this too with like a lot of the nautical sets because it can look kind of like coral or like fishing wire. So this stuff, this ribbon, I really hope this stays around for a long time. And then again, if you decide you don't want to use it, you just straighten it out, and you could just stick it down, or you could tie a bow with it or whatever. But I really, really love this copper stuff. I almost wish they would come out with it in a different, like black and silver.
I like playing with it.
Yeah, it's fun to play with. It's very stretchy. So
you can
same thing with this. What I ended up doing was I had the thick baker's twine. And I like to kind of share this with you guys when we actually do these live so you can see what I mean. But this is the thick baker's twine. This is vanilla. And what I did was I actually pulled it apart. So I took the 3 strands. So I'm not going to pull it all the way apart, but I cut it. And then what you do is you take the strands, and I actually just wrapped 2 of them together and wrapped it around there. So it gave a different look without being the baker's twine. So I always have a hard time with, I have so much ribbon and I never feel like I use it the way I should use it. This also makes really great bows too, by the way. But I always want to use it, and I feel like I never use it enough. So it makes really pretty ribbons, like if you're trying to do a really country set. Okay, so anyway, just a couple tips there. Now we'll move on to what we are going to actually create today. And I have a few different stamp sets to share.
We're gonna make
with you guys. We're gonna make this for a back-to-school teacher
project,
gift, whatever you want to call it. Now I will tell you one thing. Depending on how you stamp this, I made my box backwards because I stamped this banner on there first, and then I was like bent on making sure that I actually made it onto the box. So I just kind of folded it backwards. So you want to make sure that when you fold yours that you do it correctly, or that you cut it first and then stamp after the fact. So just an idea. So thanks to the tips. Oh, you're very welcome. No problem. Anytime. So we also have a smaller one too, and you could fill this one.
I like the big one.
You like the big one. You could fill this one with like Ghirardellis. So you could put like Ghirardelli chocolates in this. I kind of mimicked this off of one I made last year. So this one's just a little bit bigger. So you could fit some chocolates in them. You don't want them. They've been sitting there for 2 years.
Why?
She's like, how could you waste candy? So you could fit Ghirardelli squares. But if you wanted to do something maybe a little bit bigger with like a gift card, and maybe like some here. You could give them some Tombow. You could give them some glue and some
scissors,
some snail. Yeah, you might even be able to fit you probably could fit scissors. Look at that. Look at all the stuff you can fit in there.
You can make like school supplies.
You could give them a little teacher back to school box. There you go. And then on the inside, you could put your gift card to their favorite liquor store for having to tolerate the children as long as they do. And another thing I thought of too, after the fact.
You could even put this box in there.
Yeah, but then you'd have like box and box. So what would you have, like multiple boxes? That would be a good idea for like an advent box. A box and a box and a box. All right, somebody remember that. We're going to try and go back to that. This is the one I made the other day that I shared with you guys. And this is using that holographic paper. I'm going to see if I can pull this off because I stuck it on there with dimensionals. But I used the designer series paper to make this.
I like this.
So the inside's got the black and the stars, which is super fun. Same thing again, you can fit in this box here. They're really easy. Basically, you just kind of make sure that the sides are even. You can fit these candies in here as well. And then what I did was I sponged the edge with some gorgeous grape just to kind of keep the Halloween feel. And I tied it up with that really fun new ribbon that we have. I added some of these little dots. These are actually these are the faceted dots. And they came out with the Share What You Love suite, so these are in the regular catalog. I will tell you though, I've gotten mine, and a couple times I've gotten them, and the dots are kind of all over the place. They still are sticky, but for some reason they're not staying in their assigned areas. But there is a dark purple, so like a Blackberry Bliss, and a black, so these are perfect for Halloween. And you could probably even use the cantaloupe as well. But, so I was trying to like look around my craft room and see what I had that I could use that I hadn't used yet. And then you can slide this. This slides on fairly simply because this organdy ribbon is pretty forgiving. So you can just slip this back on.
I like shaking.
Okay, can you not though? That way they can see, because you're distracting. How about that? So there's that. Cute little gift there. Okay, so now we're going to get on to our busy hand helper. You know that, Linda. She's getting a little fidgety as the school days are getting close. Are you excited for school? No, because she won't be able to make videos. All right, so what we're going to do is
go back to school next week.
We're going to show you how to make this box today. And then I will also give the measurements if you wanted to make the smaller box. And I will put both of these on the blog. So this one's more of a square and this one's more like a little bit of a rectangle. Okay, so without further delay, we're going to get out our Simply Scored scoring tool. Yes. Oh, I love my helper too. All right, let me move this over so I can see what's going on.
I make up all the good ideas.
You think of all the good ideas. See, she takes credit for everything. So let me grab my paper.
I like
And
scoring.
she is going to make the box for us, okay? So let me see this. And I had my measurements here. Hold on, did you move them?
No.
All right.
Is it on the ground?
No, it's probably right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a sheet of... Sheet of 12 by 12. It's right here. I got it. A sheet of 12 by 12. Whisper white. You could use any color that you want.
I like whisper white.
But we're going to do whisper white. That way we can decorate it. All right. So here, you remember how to do this? You have to put it in the groove. And you have to drag it straight down. Okay. So she's going to do the scoring for you guys today. I'm going to tell her what to do. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to make the long box. We're going to score at 1 1/4. So that's right here. Go ahead and score at 1 1/4. Down. And then just press as you pull. All the way down. And we are going to trim this up, so I'll tell you what the measurements would be if you didn't want to use an entire sheet of Whisper White. Now we're going to score at 4 1/4. So right there. Go ahead down. Perfect. Okay. Next we're going to score at 5 1/2. So that's right there. And you don't have to worry about writing these down. I'll put them on the blog post later on. Whoop. So you gotta stay in the groove. It's okay. It's no big deal. So when if you hold it, just hold straight down. Sometimes it's a little easier. So 5 1/2. Okay, then 8 1/2 right here. And we're gonna score our last mark, but we're actually gonna just cut it there. So it's gonna end at 9 3/4. So this box right here, little line 9 3/4. Go ahead, straight down. All right. So now we're gonna turn it 90 degrees. We'll go this way. Now we're going to score at, once again, we're going to score at 1 1/4 right here. Nope, right. There you go, 1 1/4. If you hold it straight on, you might be able to get in the groove better. There you go. Okay, 6 3/4, which is right here. Nope, one more over. Right there, there you go. Oh, no problem. I like to do measurements too because I used to follow people's videos along and write them down, but we've all gotten a little better with actually giving measurements now. And at 8. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead while we have this here. Oh, you want to follow that down? Here, let's see. Maybe there's something in the groove. Put it back up where it was. Let me try that one more time. Make sure we get it. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and trim. So we're going to trim this off here. So we're going to trim that. Go ahead and get it. Black one up. And this one because you want to cut it. Okay, so we have this piece, so you can cut that off. And then we're going to cut off right here. Okay, so black one down. All right, so then this is what we're left with. Okay, so what we're going to do before we start doing our bone folding is we're going to show you, thank you, a few stamps that you can decorate this with. So we kind of came up with a couple different ideas. Yep. So we have, you could decorate it with fall leaves if you wanted to do back, like back to school.
Flowers that are
flowers.
blooming.
Yes. We could do
or snowflakes.
Scissors, markers, paintbrushes, pens, because, you know, teachers use all these things. So this is,
round up the teacher.
This is great. This is a clothespin. Do you know that?
Yeah.
You know, before dryers, you used to actually have to hang your clothes up on a line outside and wait for them to dry.
You can make it look like a teacher.
Make it look like a teacher standing there?
Because it looks like the legs and then the head.
See what happens when you get a 7-year-old to look at things? They look at things so differently. Because wait till the other thing I tell you that she thought of. You could also just do, if you wanted something more neutral, you could do the daisies. These are really simple. We thought this would be a great one to do with Let the Adventure Begin if you were giving it for back to school. Or if you were a teacher and you want to give a little something to your students, like some glue sticks or something, you could do Hey Kids, You're Awesome. Always fun. You could add clouds to it. But this is the best one that she thought of.
I thought this could be a schoolhouse.
It could be a schoolhouse. Genius idea. So from now on, if you're stumped for ideas, what we're going to do is we're going to ask our nieces and our nephews. You can't have that. You got to stamp. We're going to ask our nieces and our nephews, what are some good ideas of out-of-the-box thinking? Yeah, so the measurements or everything is going to be on the blog later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the scissors. So I'm going to get her to stamp some scissors first.
Scissors.
And we're going to just do these in black. Be simplest that way. So we're going to use some memento. So I'm going to ask you to just stamp these. Stamp a few scissors on there all over the place for me, okay? Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you gotta be careful because you're not getting the whole thing. So when you do it, which is fine, remember you gotta tap, check your ink, make sure it's all the way inked. Some of these, if your ink pad isn't inking all the way, then you want to make sure that you just re-ink it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, use the spoon to re-ink them. All right, go ahead and keep stamping. Stamp like 3 more for me. Yep. All right, you got those? Now, we also have a couple other things I thought. If you wanted to make, this is what I kind of thought too. I thought if you were making this, just remember this for the end of the year. That looks like a teacher who has given herself like, oh yeah, school's over. So keep that in mind if you want to make your end of year school box for your teacher. Also, the other thing we're going to use is I have the hand delivered, which this is a hostess set. And it's really fun because you can add all these different things. It's photopolymer, so it's really easy to line up. It is crazy looking, isn't it? But you could also use the billboard here. And that's what I thought if you wanted to. There's no face. She's like holding stuff in front of her. You could put in the let the adventure begin would probably fit in your little box there. So that's another fun one you could use. You could also use Swirly Bird if anybody has this because you could make different things. You could do like pumpkins. You could do apples out of this as well. I think you probably could do an apple. You could use little flowers.
You can make a nest.
Or a nest, yep. You could do pick a pennant, which is what I used for this. Welcome back. Because what you do is you line up your pennant and then it has all the alphabet to be able to add whatever design you want. The only thing is, like I said, if you're going to do this, make sure that you kind of cut your box out, even though you don't score it yet, so you can figure out so you don't do it backwards. And then there's also some really nice sayings in the beautiful bouquet and really in this one as well. Dream come true. Maybe somebody who's just starting teaching and that's like, this is their dream job. That'll be a great thing. Or if you wanted to make like a happy birthday, a thank you, you could also switch this into like something for bridal shower gifts. So just a couple other extra little ideas there. And what else we're going to do is we were going to add, what did we say we were going to add?
Fall leaves. Fall
leaves. You want to do the leaves? All right. So we'll do some leaves.
How about like dark orange or something?
Dark orange. Okay, that sounds good. So we'll pull out a leaf. You could also do this if you had like prior to maybe Christmas or fall vacation. You could do that. Make like a little gift box to give your teachers. It does. All right, so do me a favor. When you do this one, make sure you don't push too hard because this is the spongy ink. And just check it to make sure it's inked. And when you do, remember when you do the photopolymer stamps, you have to push it on there for another second so it actually transfers. So give it a second to push. So you count to like 5 and then move it, ink it again. Perfect. And then kind of rotate it. So add a couple of those. There you go. So add like 3 more of those. Spread them out a little bit though. Got it? All right, that's good. Now we'll do a different color. How about we do a couple green? So we're going to use our chamois. Blue? Blue leaves? That goes along with also the crookedness of everything. So add in a couple. Let's do some shaded spruce. I like this one. It's a nice color. And that way too, you can kind of cover up if you get any little smudges. could also take the time if you wanted to, and you could color in your scissors. That'd be a good idea. And I think we need to add something like bright on there. What do you think? Something in yellow?
With the lipstick?
That's a little bright. I don't know. Do you think so? Lovely lipstick?
No, do yellow.
Yellow? Okay. You want to do the pineapple punch? That's a pretty fun yellow. All right. So we'll do a few pineapple punch. And then we will show you.
Some of these in?
You can, sure. How about this? I'm going to show them while you color some of these in.
Overlap some. Can we make up the big schoolhouse just in the middle?
On top of everything?
Yeah.
Well, how would you see it, though? You could cut it out if you wanted to.
No.
Maybe. That would be a little bit much, though, huh?
Do you even have a big enough stamp pad for the big schoolhouse?
Mm-hmm. So you want to color a couple of scissors in? Do you want to do one with pink?
Yeah.
Pink scissors? Okay, so while she's doing that, I'm going to show you my idea for the teacher. So let me grab that. And I'm going to just show you what I think is a good idea. And then I'm going to show you what I did ahead of time, because I did do a little bit of ahead of time. So you could do the books, but I'm also going to do it with the sign just to kind of give you an idea of how to do it, because it is fairly simple. So what we're going to do... Hello. No. So we're going to put our feet on first. And I'm trying to try to line them up at the top, even though you can see through it. So go ahead and do it like that. We're going to use our Memento ink, because what I colored these in with were the blends, and it ended up turning out really cute. So I stamped the feet.
Do you have any like silver that I can use?
Silver? No, I don't have any silver. And I'm going to do one more. All right. How about, you want gray? Do you want gray?
Yeah, sure.
That would probably look closest. All right, close this one up. How about this? Smoky slate. Gray granite. That's a good one, because that kind of almost looks silver. And then I'm going to take the books. To have my books, I'll do for one. And this is the one I'm going to show you that I already did ahead of time. So the cool part about the photopolymer is you can line everything up exactly how you want it, because you can see through them. And if you are going to color with your Stampin' Blends, look how cool that is. Kind of even is leaning to the side, because that's how it would be if I was carrying books. And why don't you try the other end of it?
Because that end is not working so well.
Yeah. And we're going to flip this over, because this is upside down. And then I'm going to do the sign. So we have our sign.
I'm going to make just all the scissor tops.
Okay. And then I'm going to take my sign and do it the same way. So I'm just going to line it up with her waist. Okay, so then it leaves that big open space. So what you could do is you could take your other stamp. See if I can see where I put it. Let the adventure begin. This should fit in here. Yeah, we'll put it sideways. That way it'll definitely fit. And then this I would do with a color. So we'll do this in Blueberry Bushel, just because that way it'll make it a little bit more fun. Another thing I've seen people do, which is a super good idea, and it's also very simple. Just stamp this off once, make sure it's not too goopy. Yeah. Is I've seen people...
I think that's all the scissors are going to color.
That's cute. I've also seen people stamp...
You did it sideways this time.
I know. You'd be proud of me, right?
Yeah.
I've seen people stamp her skirt onto DSP and then cut it out and then overlay it on top. So then it kind of saves you from the coloring. So another quick kind of time saver idea, if that's something that you're looking for, making a lot of these, but you really don't feel like coloring them in. It's just another pretty cool idea. So what I did last night, because I wanted to do this today, I knew she wanted to do a card with a back to school theme, is I colored her. So I did this with the Stampin' Blends. So she's kind of all colored and ready to go. And another fun idea you could do too is if you did the Popple and Buy, like with the schoolhouse, and you could have her in front of it. So that would be cool. That would be a really fun idea. I know, I said it would be pretty neat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and fold these. Here, I'll put this back. We're going to fold these. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to fold it. And you're going to take the bone folder like that. Okay, so do that on all the lines. So go ahead. You going to do it? You got to use the bone folder because you want it to be really crisp. So kind of hold it. There you go. All right, I'm going to do one here.
It makes you feel like you're gonna rip the page.
Nah, this is nice. The Whisper White is the 12 by 12 sheets. I will say they have a little bit thicker of a feel than the regular Whisper White, and I like that about them because it does make them very sturdy. They're not quite as thick as the thick Whisper White, but they definitely have a heavy feel to them. All right. Oh. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab the scissors. So here's what you're going to do.
Did we fold this one? Oh, yeah.
Yep. You're going to take this. I'm going to show you the first one. We're going to cut up to the score line on each. Okay? So can you do that? Can you do that straight? So cut, cut, and cut. Here, you hold it. Just keep it in the camera so they can see what you're doing. Good. Okay, a little bit farther on that one. There you go. Same on this one. Okay, one on this one. Go ahead and cut up.
Did I cut that enough?
That's okay. We'll look and see if not. Because we still have to do something else. Okay, cut. These are really simple too. They kind of remind me of the checkbook boxes, if anybody still actually uses checks besides myself. Where you used to have them where they came in the mail and they were in those little boxes. My mom used to get those all the time. So when I made one of these the first time, that's what it reminded me of. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold our big flaps in. Yeah, this is just a little short. And we're going to take, and I just want to show them how to do this just quickly. We're going to take and just trim off just a little bit. So give it just a little miter cut. And you can cut the end off just a teeny bit if you'd like to. It kind of makes your box fold a little nicer. So miter each one and just trim a little bit off. And now I was going to tell you there's one other thing you can do if you want, but personally it kind of depends on what you want your box to look like. So if you wanted to, instead of cutting these this way, you could cut it at the front flap here, and then what would happen is your front flap would overlay, so this was all together, and your front flap would overlay. But sometimes it shows in the front, and if you mess up your cut a little bit, yeah, if you mess up your cut a little bit, it won't be quite as even. So you could cut them a different way. It just kind of depends on how particular you are about what your box looks like.
That sounded weird when you said that.
Particular. And I kind of like them to look like really square. Like, you know, they have these really square and neat corners. So that's why I do it that way. All right, so one more thing. Let me just look at this and make sure we didn't miss any little edges, because I'm going to trim this up just a little bit. Now, I will say, if you don't have your lines here square, definitely will not fold as well. So if you have like anything where there's a tiny overlap, make sure you...
Look what I was sitting on.
What? Oh, well, that's not comfortable. Make sure you just trim these up. So you can see, like, right here is where my score line was. So I'm just going to trim just to the edge. Because, again, it just makes your box look much more like a actual professional and presentable box.
That actually scores. So we don't have it on the thing.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put adhesive on. Are you ready for that? Instead of playing with the paper, you ready? You ready? You ready? All right. So we're going to use tear and tape, because it's a little bit easier and it's also more sturdy. So we're going to just take off strips. Are you watching? You going to help me? You take off strips and you're going to put it across here. So we're going to put all adhesive on all these little tabs here. Need to remember that? Yeah. It really, honestly, if you're doing a box and you're trying to make it square, that's okay if it's a little bigger. It's no big deal. Put one here. All right, you need to put two more here. If you're trying to make it square, it's really not about the inside flaps. It's about these. If you have these pieces square, they go together. I can't tell you how many times I've had to redo a box because something that I put together wasn't as square as it probably should have been. But the other thing that I also started doing, and this is a good bit of advice if you do, like if you were going to make a lot of these, what I will tend to do is if I have
Oh my gosh.
Like many,
came off on my finger.
that's okay. Like many years ago, I had gotten a big 12 by 12 stack of paper from Costco, and they were like the craziest colors you could ever imagine. So what I ended up doing with them was, I just use them as templates. So if I'm going to make something, let's just slide. You can actually use that paper piercer too if you found it. You find that? Oh, you had, never mind, you had the score. If you make templates and then you just don't put them together, that's another really good way to do it. And what I'll usually do is if I make a template, I will put like A here for adhesive. So you know this is where the adhesive goes. And then that also gives you the ability, if you wanted to fool around with it, to see which one you liked better. So since you colored this, this is going to be our top. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom. So what you're going to do is I'm going to show you one. You're going to put it to the edge. You're going to make sure you get it to the end. Just lightly press it for now. Okay, so go ahead and fold those in. Keep it in here so they can see. Okay, don't push it hard yet in case we have to adjust it. Same thing with this one. Just lightly, good. And then on this side.
That was real light.
Okay, and then what we're going to do, so again, this is going to be our top. So we're going to put these two flaps here are going to go into the bottom. So go ahead and put those two in so they're square. And sometimes, don't press those so hard because sometimes you put the second one in and you have to fix the first one. I do that too, and just to see exactly what size box you want to make. See how these go. One thing you do have to check though, before you smush it, you always want to make sure it closes nicely. Because sometimes, like this one right here, is a little snug. So what you can do is you can still pull this apart. And if the adhesive comes off, you can always put another piece of tear and tape. So I kind of will wrap this around the end and then close it. But so there's your box. So now open it up and you can push all of them really tightly against there so it doesn't fall apart. So press the end and one's in the middle. And then what we're going to do is...
I know who exactly I'm going to give this to.
You're giving this one away too?
Uh-huh.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. You're giving everything away,
No,
aren't
but
you?
I know actually
Who you're going to give it to?
I'm going to give it to.
Your new teacher?
No.
No. Me?
No.
No. All right, I'm trying to find a teacher that you know. I'm trying to find a really awesome piece, but I seem to have.
I'm going to make this teacher sideways.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Let me hold on one second because I'm trying to get a piece of PSP to decorate it.
Table. What?
She's going to fall off. I'm going to see if I can find like a nice backgroundy piece of paper for this. That's kind of pretty. But kind of fallish. That's a little too much purpley. Let's see if we have anything in here we can use.
Like that.
It's too much for you? How about...
I like the back.
How about if we use the copper? Because that's very fall.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, we're going to use this. So we're going to use the copper.
That looks
so this was from the Petal Promenade.
That looks real and that teacher looks like just...
Like she's just popping right out of it, right? Yeah.
It looks weird.
All right, so we're going to put her this way. And what we're going to do is we're going to punch a circle. Okay, we're not going to cut. We're going to do a circle. So we're going to use, if I can remember exactly where I put them, my layering circles. Let's see, where was my biggest one? See, that's why I shouldn't have had those out over here earlier. How did I know this was going to happen?
Are they over here?
We'll see. No. So let me... Are they under that paper there? Grab that paper and just see if they're under it.
Which one are you pointing?
The big stack of paper. Are they under there? Yep. See them right down? There we go. Whew. Saved the day. She saved the day. I said to her, they're under that stack of paper. She says, which one? That's when you know you need to straighten your craft room up. Yes. Not yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday.
Magnets?
Yes, they're on a magnet sheet. If you guys are familiar with Kylie Bertucci, which I'm sure you are, how could you not be? She shared a picture of herself after she went live of her desk, and I gotta tell you what, it made me feel so much better about myself because I thought I was the only one that ended up with like a nightmare of a paper and supply thing everywhere.
It is crazy.
And she said
right now.
she said no wonder she couldn't find her bone folder, and I thought, oh my goodness, at least somebody else crafts the way I do, because whew, that was something.
Rachel's crafting is crazy.
Crazy? I'm the crazy crafter. That's what I should have called myself, the crazy crafter. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, right, the largest. We'll use the scallop. And I'm going to show you what I was talking about with this paper, just in case you decided you wanted to do it. That is neat. So I'm going to go ahead and cut just this one piece here. So this is the largest scallop die from the layering circles.
That is.
It's just through the Big Shot.
That was actually pretty easy.
So then if you wanted to, so say if she was on like a solid sheet, what you could do instead is you could cut out, oh, hey, Chrissy, tell Maya we said hello. We say a prayer for her every night. She's always in our hearts. We're thinking of her, little sweet girl. Where did I put my circle? So if you wanted to, you could, oh Lord, I'm telling you, it's like such, here it is. It's such a travesty in this place. You could take your...
It's like you're traveling and there's trees everywhere.
Oh, heavens. You could take your circle and cut it.
None of these fall off.
And then you could use your next layer and cut it at the same time. So then you would have a thin layer.
There's trees all over here.
So that's how I do these with cutting. Or if you wanted to, like the same thing again. This one's not small enough. Hold on. Don't get crazy yet.
I'm crazy.
All right, well, rein it in for a second. So if you put this one would be the next thinnest layer. So then you could have a circle layer, a scallop layer, and another circle layer. And then you would have 3 layers you'd be able to use. Psst, zip it. 3 layers you'd be able to use instead of using like whole sheets of paper. But anyway, so just set those on there for me for now. I'm going to put these all back. And we're going to move this out of the way. And what did you say you wanted to wrap this with?
I don't know.
That tea ribbon?
Yes.
So we're going to also use this really pretty ribbon. This comes in a 2-pack. Oh, hi, Miss Rhonda.
There's Rhonda.
I got Crazy Crafter here. I don't know. It feels like she's had too much sugar today, and I don't think she's even had anything.
Miss Rhonda. I did.
Oh, you had sugar. Well, there you go. So, oh, look, my tip isn't working. So if you can't get your sealant off, what you do is you kind of squeeze it together, slide your scissor underneath, and then you can pull off the plastic. But this is what she wanted to wrap it up with. I know it doesn't coordinate very well. Please stop. But we're going to add this as well. And we're going to put this on here. And then we have to have something. Welcome. Welcome back. All right, we don't have a back. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a really pretty welcome.
Here.
We're going to do a really pretty welcome. Stop.
Oh, I didn't know that was still attached.
Okay. And then we're going to do back with those other letters that were in that other stamp set. So move this over. So we have welcome. And we'll do welcome in... We'll do it...
How about lovely lipstick or something?
Oh man, this card. This is going to be I think one of the most colorful cards
in the world
I have ever made in my entire life.
I think it's going to be one of the brightest cards in the
brightest,
world.
I agree.
I don't know.
So we're going to do welcome in lovely lipstick.
Color.
We have that color. It's right over here. Poppy Parade.
Hey, why didn't we use it?
Why didn't you tell me? You want to use that one instead?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go Poppy Parade. Good, because this welcome was just a little too crazy for me. So we're going to change to Poppy Parade, which coincidentally almost matches my blend that I colored it in with. So we're going to do welcome.
Oh, that is so
That's so much better, isn't it? Kind of at least matches the scissors a little bit. Welcome. Welcome 1. No, not your password, goofball. Whenever we have to reset our password at work, it always goes back to welcome 1 or welcome 2 or
welcome 5.
Welcome with exclamation points. We're very original.
Oh, can I do the back?
We'll do the back, yes, but we got to line up the letters. So you find the letters. B-A-K-C. That's not how you spell it. So this one probably could go a little bit smaller, but for the sake of her.
I got it in the order that I said it.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and put some adhesive on this.
I can't find the C.
And I bet you whoever she gives this to is just going to absolutely
love it.
So I'm going to put this on. I still have some fast
she's
fuse
always
left.
bright and happy.
This person?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet I know who it is.
Yep.
I bet I know. Aunt
Yeah.
Laura?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is a PE
Heart
teacher.
Person.
Hmm?
She's a heart person.
A heart person. Yep, she always looks for hearts. They remind her of her mom. So you got the BA?
I got the B.
All right, let me do the B.
Here's the A.
All right, where's it? Where's the B? So we're going to make
I
our...
just stuck them together.
This is another set that if you don't have the...
See?
Come on. Okay.
Can that even fit?
Yeah, but it's in the wrong order. So what you could do...
What you were doing.
That's okay. If you don't have that beautiful stamp set, which I keep saying I need to order, the Share What You Love.
Oh, I love that one.
It's beautiful because it's actually more scripty. And then you could make a welcome back that looked like really, really pretty. So I'm going to space these out just a little bit. Am I keeping you up? Okay. And we're going to do our back in black.
They're already going to sleep.
Welcome back.
Bam. I like the back.
I know it's a little crazy, but it kind of looks like a kid did it. We'll go with that.
Welcome back.
All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to just trim this out with our scissors.
I just fell off the Why'd you do it on that pencil that we already scored?
Because we weren't using it. And I'm actually going to trim this a little bit.
Sideways.
So I'm going to go, yeah, it wasn't on purpose.
Oh,
I'm going to go straight on the bottom. I'm going to trim it in. And I like doing this when you have the scripty and the knot. So trim it in.
That was cool how it
And then I'm going to follow this around.
On the teacher, you fell on the teacher. This did not look like that one.
Just
the teacher can't even see where
like
she's
that.
going.
She can. Well, I think teachers probably usually can't see where they're going because all they're worried about is their students. So I'm going to pop this up on a dimensional.
My teacher used to just like look in front of her and make sure all the students, and my other teacher, my aide, would just be in the back looking at all the students.
Oh, that's nice.
And the
paying attention, yeah, at the caboose, right? All right, so we're gonna set this on here sideways, so it makes my niece happy for one of her last cards. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to wrap the box. So you could put gift cards in here. Again, these are gift cards, scissors, chocolate,
school
miniatures.
Supplies.
Just kidding.
What are those?
School supplies, Hershey miniatures, right?
What are you
So we're gonna
talking
bring this up and tie it, and I'm going to tie it in a bow, and we're going to kind of offset this. So this is the tea room ribbon. So it comes with two different ones. You get this one, and then there's one that's like a light cream. So we're going to cut this.
Why am I so tiny?
Here.
I'm always tiny.
Come on. Scoot this to the side. We'll put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this. That way, if we want, we can kind of scoot it around. We don't want to hide the scissors, so I'm actually going to move this to the side because I think it looks a little bit more fun. So there you go. Anyway, you can decorate this box any way you want. And once again, I will also tell you the measurements if you want to do a tiny box, if you have like just want to give them like chocolates or something, or the even smaller box. This is also very fun. So there's 3 different measurements for those. I will measure them all and put everything on the blog. That way you guys can find them and make them. But again, if you didn't watch from the beginning, if you're coming in halfway, make sure you go back to the beginning, because there are a lot of ideas on how you could decorate this. Lots of stamp set ideas. Again, you could do this, make this your schoolhouse if you wanted to, which is a really good idea.
So the kids don't go outside the fence.
So it's like their recess area.
A recess.
If you were a teacher and you're giving something, you could do, "Hey kids, you're awesome." You could put that across the front. You could give like your kids a little something. It doesn't have to be anything huge.
Chocolate.
This one was great for putting the sign on or the stack of books. So that was hand delivered. And there were lots more ideas in the beginning. I don't want to go through them again for anyone who was here the whole entire time. I don't want to torture you and make you watch everything again. But thank you all, as always, for tuning in and watching my niece and I make this fun project. I'm so glad that I had her here. Yeah, you can watch the replay anytime you want because it will be up on Facebook. It takes a little bit for it to get over to the YouTube channel. And make sure, if you haven't already, leave a comment, because as always I will do a drawing, and I did not do one last week like I promised. So what I'm going to do before we go outside is I'm going to go downstairs and we're going to draw a winner for the DSP. That will be from the time before. And we will draw a winner for something for the last one as well. So make sure you leave a comment for this so we can draw a winner for something, okay? Leave this up here so you can see it. That way we have something fun to give away.
It's like amazing.
It is fun.
This pen
also,
is actually really
you also have your
pretty.
crafting one too. So much fun. So,
I like the ABCs.
Hand delivered.
You can just do ABCs.
You could do ABCs. That's a good idea, too. You could even just use the alphabet and cover it with alphabet letters. That's a great idea. Yeah. All right, so thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere here. Same thing with YouTube. If you're watching this, if you click the red subscribe button, it's down here somewhere. It will notify you when I post a new video. And we will be back next Wednesday for probably our final project before school goes back.
Wait, actually,
so stay tuned.
Doesn't school go back next week?
You still have a whole nother week. We still have one more week.
I learned what I get I get to know who my teacher is
on Friday, yeah.
Friday.
2 days, she finds out who her teacher is. So
my
exciting
sister
times here.
Knows who her teacher
you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you very much for watching and sharing and laughing and tolerating. I appreciate it. A lot of extra chatter and movement today. You guys are awesome. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.